first of all, welcome to our new rep training class tonight. One of the things that I'm going to do with you is spend a little bit of time. For those of you I have not met yet, my name is Keith Otto. I'm a senior national sales director with Primerica. I've been with the company for about 32 years. I started when I was 22 years old. I turned 55 in February. And I share that with you because I've got a little bit of a track record. I'm going to put my light on, hope it doesn't distract you. Got a little bit of a track record with the company. So part of what I want to do with you is kind of take 32 years experience and try to break it into 45 minutes to an hour today and kind of give you some more information. I think one of the things that we look at within the business is there's only two reasons people don't take action or get started with us. One is they don't take the time to fully understand who we are and what we do. And the second reason is people don't think that they can do it. And what I want to share with you today is a little bit more information on what we do and who we are, and then get you to understand that everybody can do this business. You know, I'm sitting in my office right now in my house, and this is where I do kind of our follow-up meetings with people. I live in Naples, Florida full time, but I'm originally from New Jersey, and our main office is in Teaneck, New Jersey. So we got a bunch of people on the phone kind of from all over. I know we have people on the phone tonight from New York, New Jersey, people from our office in Florida, which is where I'm speaking to you in Naples, Florida right now. We have people from Texas, North Carolina, kind of all over the place. And so what I'm going to do is kind of present a little bit of my perception of the business and go through a little bit of some presentations. And if you have any questions at the end, I'll do a little Q&A if we have time at the end. But part of what I want to do is kind of share my story with you. When I started with the company, I was a 22-year-old kid. I had no desire to be in this type of business. I had no desire to be in financial services business. I never even thought about being in my own business. I always thought it would be kind of cool to make enough money to kind of run and operate a business, but I never had a game plan for it. My goal was, when I looked at Primerica, I was trying out for the Olympic team. Actually, I was fighting on a Taekwondo team back in the day. I made the national team, and next door to my little karate school was a plumbing company. And so I was kind of a broke athlete. I moved out of my house when I was a junior in high school. And that's why I always say how you start is not how you finish. You can't really see my house right here, but I live in a 19,000 square foot house. Life is good, but it didn't start out like that. And so I moved out of my house when I was a 17-year-old kid, a junior in high school, and I needed to make money. And so when I first looked at the business, I was doing construction and teaching a Taekwondo school at night. And maybe some of you can relate to that. I never planned on doing for a living what I was doing for a living, but because of circumstance, a lot of us fall into a situation where we start making money and then spending money and paying bills. And then we put ourselves in a position maybe where we kind of get locked in, so to speak. And so when I first looked at Primerica, I was making about $70,000 a year. And the thing about that is, back in 1987, $70,000 was a lot of money. The challenge is, in 2020, $70,000 is a lot of money. If there's a 22-year-old kid on this call tonight who has no college degree, no financial background, was doing construction and making $70,000 a year, you'd say, wow, that's pretty good income. And so when I first started, the coolest thing about Primerica is I got to use my chance and not take a chance. I didn't have to quit my job. I didn't have to quit school. I didn't have to jump in with both feet. I was able to do this part-time. I sat through a business briefing that somebody invited me down. It was actually an apprentice of mine. It was a guy that worked at our plumbing company and says, hey man, I respect your opinion. I value your opinion. I want you to come see what I'm doing. He invited me to a business orientation. Now, the reason I put this call together tonight is because there's a lot of you that I haven't met personally. There's a lot of people on this phone. We have some veterans on the phone, which I see tonight have been with me a bunch of years. But we also have people on the phone that maybe got recruited on or decided to give Primerica a shot. You joined the business in April, which is this month. You might have joined the business last month or in the last few months. And so our business is completely different than it was prior to Corona. And I'm going to spend a lot of time talking about COVID-19, but our offices right now are shut down. I have a financial interest. I have about 450 RVP offices all over the country. Like I said, my main office is in New Jersey, and my other office is in Naples, Florida, Bonita Springs, actually. And when I first took a look at the business, I sat through a business briefing. Somebody on the phone might have sat through a business briefing or sat through a business briefing via Zoom like we're doing tonight. Some of you might have been recruited over the kitchen table. It doesn't matter how you get introduced to Primerica, the system is the same. And one of the things that I didn't understand when I first took a look at Primerica is Primerica has more people making over 100,000, $500,000, and $1 million more than any other company in the United States. That I didn't understand. And one of the things that we do very simple is we educate middle income people on how money works. The coolest thing is I sat through a business briefing and the first speaker got up and started talking about what we do. We help people. And quite honestly, when I was 22 years old, I had no desire to help people. There was nothing that motivated me about helping people back then. I was a young kid. All I wanted to do was make income. I wanted to make income so I could pay my bills. I grew up broke. My parents were divorced. I needed, not just wanted, I needed to make money. So when I saw the first speaker says we help people, the second speaker says we help people, the third speaker says we help people, I'm like, I didn't join the business or get invited down to help people. The last speaker got up and talked about making income and owning your own business and taking control of your financial future. And that motivated me. And what he said to me, which hit me like a ton of bricks, was I could keep my full-time job, I could keep my security, and I can do this part-time. And the coolest thing about our business, folks, is you have an opportunity to come on board and go at your own pace. There's guys that work with us that make, within the first 6 months to a year, make $100,000. That was not me. I was not the first horse out of the gate. Matter of fact, I struggled with every little part of this business. I was in the business 4 years part-time before I quit my job, and I made a career change. They said, if you can make more money part-time, would you consider a career change? I was like, absolutely. My first year part-time, I made $18,000. Second year, I made $26,000 part-time. Third year, I made $75,000 part-time. And in my fourth year, which was 1992, I made $150,000 part-time. That's when I quit my job. That's when I came on board full-time. And I truly believe what took me 4 years can be done in 6 to 12 months today. That's the system that we have in place. That's the company structure that's in place right now. And so I share that with you. And the reason I mentioned my income wasn't to impress you, but it was to press upon you that you can go at your own pace. What changed my life, and I share this with every person I introduced to Primerica, is the first year I made $18,000, which is $1,500 a month. And for me, it was a game changer. It was the first time I set up investments for my family. It was the first time I saw a game plan to get out of debt. And so it was the first time I saw the light at the end of the tunnel, which wasn't a train coming at me, so to speak. And for the last 32 years, all I've talked to people about is making an extra $1,000 or $1,500 a month. Last year, this company paid us $4.3 million. That's a lot of money, okay? And that's awesome. This year we'll make close to $5 million, and that's excellent, okay? But nothing's gonna change in my life right now. We've been financially independent for 15 or 20 years. But what changed my life, folks, is when I made an extra $1,000 or $1,500 part-time. And that's what I want to talk to you about, is about using this system called Primerica. So what I want to do is kind of go through and cover some stuff, not wear you out with the presentation that you sat through, but what I want to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to open this puppy up. I'm not going to open that up. I'm going to open this one up right here. And I'm going to share my screen. Hold on one second. Trying to figure this out. I'm about as computer friendly as a pit bull. All right. There we go. I'm going to share my screen. Is that, Wilma, can you see my screen, or can you guys see my screen now? Okay. And so part of what I want to do is kind of share with you, when I first looked at Primerica, what I didn't understand is what the company did, right? And I thought, well, this is a financial services company. You know, if I asked you right now, if I was getting together with you at my desk here in my office, in my house, and I said to you, hey, what's your perception of what Primerica does? Some of you would say, oh, you guys do term insurance, right? I was playing golf this morning with some guys, and one of the guys works at Morgan Stanley, and he goes, oh, you guys do mutual funds. I said, that's one of the things we do. And one of the guys goes, I thought you do life insurance. We're not a life insurance company, folks. we're not an investment company. We're not a debt elimination program company. What we are is we're a financial distribution system. And what we do at the company is we educate middle-income people on how money works. And so what I want to do is kind of share with you what Primerica is right here. When it shows Primerica, this company is as you're sitting on this call tonight, or if you're sitting at my desk here, and I always say when I meet with people, you know, you get together with me and I talk to you about what Primerica does. And a lot of times people say, well, you know, I don't know if I want to work with Primerica. And what I want to share with you is Primerica goes to work for you. Our job would be to get you licensed, get you trained, get you understanding how the business works so we can build a business together. So let me kind of touch on a couple things. The first thing right here is we're not a life insurance company, but we own a company right here called Primerica Life. Primerica Life has been in business since 1926. Matter of fact, let me touch on something here. If you look at Primerica Life Insurance Company, my writing is terrible here, but Primerica Life Insurance Company is the only company that markets term insurance. Term insurance. Now, a lot of you that don't have an insurance license don't know the difference, but there's two major kinds of insurance. There's what's called term insurance, and then there's what's called whole life insurance. And very simple is every single company in the United States that sells life insurance. When I started, there was 2,000 life insurance companies back in 1987. 2,000. Right now, today, there's 900 left. A lot of companies have been downsized and merged, but there's about 900 insurance companies left. Every single company, folks, sells whole life insurance and term insurance except one. 900 companies sell both, and Primerica Life is the only company, an NBL in the state of New York, it's the only company that markets term insurance 100%. And very simple, what we do is we show people actually how to get out of the insurance business. So, and I'll talk about that in a second, but so this company that we represent, we're very proud of it because this company that we represent is a huge company in the industry. And what we do is very simple, is we kind of right a wrong. So we do our insurance through these companies. We represent a bunch of companies, American Funds, Voya, Equitable. This is where we do all of our 401k plans for small businesses. We do annuities, right, through Lincoln, Equitable, Bright House, AIG. You know, a lot of you maybe have never heard of Primerica. Primerica doesn't do a ton of advertising. But what we do, folks, is we represent great companies. We represent some of these companies like Lincoln or Equitable, Bright House. Some of these companies have been around for over 100 years, okay? This is where we market our annuities through. Now, annuities are a phenomenal product, but they're a phenomenal product for the right person. They're not a great product for everybody. It depends on what your financial situation is, how mature your money is, right? But one of the things we do is we educate people on how annuities work. Managed investments, we do managed accounts through Primerica Advisors. Then we do mutual funds, right? A lot of people aren't familiar with mutual funds. 1 out of 4 people today own mutual funds. When I sat in my business briefing in 1987, I never heard the word mutual fund. I thought mutual fund was something you did with your girlfriend on the weekend, a little mutual fund. I didn't understand that with mutual funds, you could have professional money management. I didn't understand that I could start a mutual fund, folks, for as little as $25 a month. We can invest for people for as little as $25 or $50 a month. I played golf today with a guy who's a financial advisor. And I said to him, what's your minimum investment for a client? He says, I don't take a client unless they have a minimum of $5 million net worth. I said, I take a client for as little as $25 a month, $50 a month. Why? Because these awesome companies, we're not a mutual fund company, but we represent American Funds, Legg Mason, Templeton, American Century, Invesco. Some of these companies, folks, have been around for 100 years. And if you look at banks and insurance companies, and a lot of companies have downsized or went out of business, especially recently with this crisis, not one mutual fund company has ever gone out of business. Why? Because when you buy 1 share of a mutual fund, very simple, and I'm going to kind of share this with you here. When you buy 1 share of a mutual fund, you might own 100 to 150 different companies. So very simple. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about mutual funds, but mutual funds, in my opinion, are the best investment for middle income people. It's the best investment. I own a ton of mutual funds, okay? Every human being that you and I know should have mutual funds in their portfolio. And what people don't realize, and a lot of you, when we talked about the rule of 72 and compound interest, which I'll talk to you about in a second, mutual funds, very simple. You buy one share of a mutual fund, you own great companies. And so, to give you an example, if you owned Coca-Cola stock, right? If Coca-Cola stock went up in price, you make money. If it goes down in price, you lose money. It's gambling. The market was up today. The market was up yesterday. The market was down on Monday, right? So the market goes up and down, it fluctuates. But I always use this example. The market goes up and down and it fluctuates. It's like a yo-yo going up and down as you're walking up a set of stairs. So if you own Coca-Cola, I don't care what anybody says, it's gambling. It's risky. If it goes up or down, you make money or lose money, right? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. But if you own Coca-Cola stock, and when you buy mutual funds, you're buying shares of equity companies, right? If you're buying stock mutual funds, if you buy Coca-Cola stock, you own great American company, but it's one. But if you own Coca-Cola and then you bought maybe General Motors and then you bought Home Depot and then you bought Disney stock, right? The more you own, the more you spread your risk out. Well, when you buy mutual funds, you're owning great American companies. You have ownership in these companies. And so the average growth mutual fund in the last 70, 80 years has yielded somewhere between 8 and 12%. That I said you could start for as little as $25 or $50 a month. So one of the things that we do, very simple, folks, is we take Wall Street concepts and we bring them to Main Street. All these great companies, we're not a mutual fund company, but we represent those companies. How about this? If you were to call American Funds directly, or you were to call Legg Mason, which used to be Smith Barney for some of the older guys like me, Invesco, any of these companies, if you were to call them up right now, or ask them to email you or mail you a prospectus or paperwork, you could fill out that and set up a mutual fund directly with that company. Or someone at Primerica could do it for you. There's no additional fee. Because the client doesn't pay us, the company pays us. So any business you look at, there's got to be a need. So that's what I'm kind of sharing with you tonight. And so one of the things we do is legal protection, right? One Primerica legal protection program. That's an area where we show people how to set up wills and put together their financial game plans. We do mortgages, Primerica Mortgage. We represent Rocket Mortgage, right? And so that company right now is where we're going to be able to show people how to refinance. We're not in the mortgage business to be in a mortgage business, but we can help people reduce their payments and help eliminate and accelerate their debt and pay off some credit card debt, right? So Answer Financials, where we do all of our auto insurance, property and casualty insurance. So a lot of you, when you sat through a presentation, we talked about kind of who we are. And that's why it talks about Primerica is the largest independent financial services marketing organization in North America. 2 million investment clients, right? 5 million lives insured through our companies. So I'm sharing this with you because I've done this meeting or presentation like this thousands of times. And when I used to meet with people in my office, which God willing, we'll be back doing this by next month after this crisis is over. We'll be back in our office and trainings and sitting down with clients across the kitchen table. But our clients, our business, we do business in every state. We're in Puerto Rico, we're in Canada, we're in Guam, we're in every state in the United States. And we're number one in all the areas we do business. It says right here, our mission is what? To help families earn more income, become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. That's something that everybody needs. So when we go through this presentation that somebody did for you, whether you sat through a group presentation on a Zoom for a business briefing or somebody did it one-on-one with you at your house or individually, this is really what we do. And we talk about the crisis today. See, everybody today, 78% of full-time workers live paycheck to paycheck. We've been saying that, 8 out of 10 people, 4 out of 5. We've been saying that for years. And ever since this coronavirus hit, what happened is a lot of people got financially devastated. Why? Because they don't have money saved. They're living week to week. We're supposed to be the richest, most educated country in the world. We got more people retiring broke. It says right here, household debt at 15,000. 70% of households right now, if they lost their income for 6 months, forget about 6 months, 6 weeks are devastated. So these are some of the concepts that we share, and I don't want to repeat all the whole thing that we went over with you right here, but this is key. More than half of Americans have less than $1,000 in savings. That's sad. That's sad because financially, retirement's not an age, it's an amount. Education is not shouldn't be debt. It's an amount that people need to put away. And so one of the things that we do is we educate people on how to get rid of some of these financial challenges, right? It says, do you have a written program to get out of debt and retire financially secure? The average person does not. So what we do, folks, is we educate people on using compound interest, right? The rule of 72. The rule of 72, the first time I heard it, blew me away. It blew me away. I said, how could all these people know about money and I've never been taught that? How come they didn't teach us this in school? So we talk about, people don't need a seminar to tell you that 4% is not as good as 12%, but most people don't realize that when you sit down with people who's saving $200 a month and they're getting 3% of their money, it's $162,000 over a 37-year period, but at 9%, it's $700,000. It's a huge difference. People don't need to be sold, folks, they need to be told. And one of the things that we do is we put together financial needs analysis. This is very simple what we do. The average person we sit down with does business with 15 or 20 different people. They've got a mortgage through one company, insurance, credit cards, installment loans, and all these arrows are facing out. What we do is we pull them all together and get people putting together what we call a financial needs analysis. So a financial needs analysis is very simple. It's something that everybody needs. So we utilize these great companies that we represent, very simple, folks, to put together, let me see if I can do this way, to put together a financial house, right? And a financial house is what every human being, everybody should have their financial house in order. And what we found out today, more now than ever, people are aware or conscious that you need a financial house. So the reason I showed you all these companies that we represent wasn't really to impress you with the fact that we're a big company. I showed you these companies that we represented, folks, so to kind of give you an understanding of what we do. And so when you look at the financial house, everybody starts with the same position. It's called the beginning, right? If you were going to build a house on a beach, so to speak, or a house that I'm living in right now, the first thing you do is you build a foundation. And your foundation for your financial house is insurance. Just like your foundation in your house is the strongest part, that's the first thing you do when you build a house. When I built this house, the first thing they did was dig a ground and put the foundation in. Well, in your financial house, folks, in your financial house, the thing that you've got to have is you've got to have insurance. So I'll give you a little example. This is kind of, my writing is terrible here, but let me give you an example. Let's just say my wife and I used to be a plumber. My wife used to own a nail salon. So let's just say both of us are working full time and we bring money home to the kitchen table. If something happened to my wife or something happened to me, then that money stops coming to the kitchen table. True or not true? Well, right now I have 2 children, right? I have a son, Blake, who will be 18 next month. I have a daughter, 20, so she's in college. She's a sophomore in college. She goes to TCU. My son's going to be going to UConn. Well, if something happened to me when the kids were younger or something happened to me right now and my wife, our financial situation, we'd be devastated. So people should buy insurance, not for an investment or not for a retirement program, strictly to replace income, folks. Well, watch this. This is the challenge. The challenge is right here is the average person who buys life insurance. What they do is they buy life insurance and they buy it as an investment. It's either called cash value, whole life insurance, universal life, variable life, go get a life, where's your wife? They got 80 million different types. Very simple. You should never, ever, ever buy a life insurance policy that has a savings program or a college fund or retirement plan built into it. So as an example, does your auto insurance have a savings program? The answer is no. Does your homeowner's insurance, renter's insurance? I've got motorcycle insurance, health insurance. No insurance should have a savings program. And the answer is neither should your life insurance. And what happens is when you take a life insurance policy and a savings program combined, which is what they call cash value, that's the generic term, what happens is it's very, very expensive. We call it the 4 evils of cash value life insurance. It's very expensive. It's usually 60 to 80% more expensive. The second problem with this type of product, that 90% of people who buy life insurance get sold that product, okay? is if you ever want to borrow any money out of the policy, what you're doing is you're borrowing your own money. All right, so you're paying interest on your own money. The third challenge with that type of product is it's a very, very low interest rate. I said that the average mutual fund is yielded between 8 and 12%. Well, the average whole life policy in the first 2 to 4 years has a negative return. First 2 years, you lose 100%. From 2 to 4 years, you have a negative return. After 10 years, you average anywhere from 1 to 2% at best. So you get a very low rate of return. So it's expensive, you're borrowing your own money, you get a low rate of return. And then the worst part about it is you have life insurance and savings, but what happens is once they bundle them together, you only get to exercise one. So if you die, the life insurance gets paid out to the beneficiary. Any of the savings gets kept by the company. So you don't get both, right? So what we do very simple is you need to have life insurance to protect you, just like you need to have auto insurance, God forbid somebody steals your car. You need to have homeowners insurance, God forbid my house burnt down, your assets are protected, right? But you need to have life insurance to replace your income. Your biggest asset that you have is not your jewelry, it's not our cars, it's not our house, it's our ability to earn income. It's our ability to bring money home to the kitchen table, folks. So what we do, very simple, is we show people how to buy term insurance, and instead of investing, saving them 60 to 80%, instead of investing in an insurance product, we show them how to separate the two, buy insurance through insurance company, and take the difference and invest it via a 401k, an IRA, college education program, a mutual fund, an annuity, depending on what their financial needs analysis shows. So what we do when we do an F&A shows 3 things. It shows you exactly what do you need, what do you want, and then what can you afford? And it's not what you can afford, it's what you're willing to afford. So what we do when we do a financial needs analysis, folks, is we gather information and we put together a financial needs analysis, which is a customized, confidential, complimentary, which means free, program for every client. So the client says to me, hey, listen, Keith, I'm 30 years old, or right now I'm 50, 55. Somebody goes, what's a good plan for me? How much insurance do I need? We don't look at someone and go, you look like you need 100,000 or 50,000. How do we know? Just like if you went to the doctor and you weren't feeling good, and the doctor says, well, what's the matter? I said, well, you know, I'm not feeling good. All right, take this prescription. You take this, and you would never, to give a prescription without an examination is malpractice, right or wrong. So what we do is we educate people, very simple, on how money works, right? And so the first thing we do is we figure out what a person needs for insurance. The second thing we do in their financial house is we show them how to set up an emergency fund. The reason that people have debt is they spend money they don't have. You should, on average, have somewhere between 6 to 12 months put away in a money market or a savings account. I don't care what kind of interest. It's not for investing, it's for saving. It's strictly for an emergency fund, so that if something pops up, like the car breaks down, or this situation we're dealing with in the United States right now, you have money to kind of fall back on just in case. Then what you should have is a debt elimination program. Folks, everyone has debt. There's no such thing as good debt, but there's better debt, right? If you have a mortgage and it's tax deductible, that's better debt. But if you have credit card debt, revolving debt, it's not amortized, and you just revolving it, you keep paying, it doesn't go away. What we do is we teach people how to eliminate debt and set up what we call a debt elimination program. The next thing we do is, if you have children, is we put together a college program. And then the last thing that we do is we put together retirement, right? Every single human being that we come in contact with who has responsibility needs insurance, or needs an emergency fund, needs a debt elimination program, college education, or retirement. Every single human being needs a financial game plan. Not everybody on this call tonight needs a new computer, or needs a new car, or needs a new watch, but everybody needs a financial game plan. So that's why when I talked to you earlier, it wasn't to impress you with how big our company was, it's to impress you or press upon you. We have all these great companies that we represent to put us in a position, folks, to do this financial needs analysis, right? To do this financial needs analysis. And then this talks about the fear of decreased responsibility, right? Where in the early years, people don't have a lot of money, but they need income protection. But in the early years, people don't have a lot of money, folks. So what they do is they let that money compound out. Later on, when the person's older, their children are grown, their debt is paid off, right? Mortgage is paid off. They need retirement income. And so when the average person doesn't have enough protection early on and doesn't have enough savings later on. And so that's why every human being, we do a complimentary financial needs analysis. No other company does that, right? We'll sit down across the kitchen table in a person's house. That's why I said we take Wall Street to Main Street. Right now, because of the situation, we're doing it via the computer, okay? So part of what I wanted to share with you is that. And so what we do is when I meet with people, or say a person comes to a business briefing and they sit down and they say, well, wait, Keith, I want to get some more information about your product. So I just kind of gave you a little overview on what we're doing, but there's two things. When people meet with me, they go, Keith, I want to learn about your products. And they think that our products are what I just shared with you. Those aren't our products, folks. Those are our concepts. And our concepts, very simple, is the fact that we do a financial needs analysis. Everybody's game plan is a little bit different. I'm 55 years old, right? The guy next door to me might be 55 years old, might make about the same money I make. It's like a thumbprint. His game plan is going to be completely different, folks, than my game plan, right? Or your game plan. So we do a step-by-step financial needs analysis. Those are our concepts. But our product is the business opportunity. Our product is the fact that you and I can build a company within a company. Every single one of you on this phone was introduced to Primerica by somebody else. None of you answered an ad in the paper that we didn't put in. I've been doing this now 32 years. I've never cold called. I've never knocked on doors. I never put an ad in the paper. 100% of the people I've ever met will refer to me by somebody else, which I'll talk about. Our whole business is built on referrals. Why? When you show someone how to save money versus spending money, you have more places to go than you have time to. And so what I want to do is kind of show you, we have a step-by-step process. It's called a success checklist, right? It's a sprint to district. It's to get you learning and understanding our business. And I say to people this, you want to learn the business. Every time I meet with somebody, I don't sell them on why they should come to work with Primerica. I have them sell me on why they shouldn't. I tell everybody, whether you're interested or not, I believe this. Everybody should give this business 30 to 60 days. 30 to 60 days. Why? Because if you gave this business 30 to 60 days, the worst case scenario is you're going to get an education on how money works. The second thing that's going to happen is you're going to help some people through the process, which I'll talk about with their financial game plans. And then the third thing that will happen is you'll make money. We have a step-by-step training process. And so one of the things that we have, folks, is we have a thing called a success checklist. And our success checklist, very simple, is a process. Let me go through it here. Okay. Our success checklist is a process that we take people on board. And it says, now this is just, it has my address from my office in Bonita Springs, but watch this. The first thing that we do if a person comes on board is we have them come on board and give this thing 30, 60 days, like I just said. So then the next thing we have to do is we've got to prove to you what we showed you is fact. Like I'm telling you things right now, right? In the business briefing, in the corporate overview, we tell people what we do. And so now what I like to do is share with people and show people and prove to people what we showed you and told you is fact. The first thing that we have you do is we have a step-by-step process. The cool thing is you can go at your own pace, okay? And so when I share this with you, the success checklist, what this is something that we give to all new associates that come on board to give you a step-by-step process. But what I want to do is I want to kind of break it down so I can write on it a little bit. And this kind of gives you our success checklist, and it's going to allow me to write on it. So if you look right here, the first thing that we have people do is we have people put together a top 25 list. Now that top 25 list is not a list for us, it's a list for you. As a matter of fact, what I do is teach people how to create inventory. Inventory in your business is people. We're in the people business. We're not in the people We're not in a sales business, we're in a people attraction business, right? And so if you're good with people, you'll do great with us. Like I said, we're not in the financial services business, we're in a financial distribution business. The first thing we have people do is get people to understand that they have a market. Well, watch this. The average 30-year-old person, folks, in the United States, the average 30-year-old person knows 1,100 people. If I grabbed your phone right now, right? If I grabbed your phone right now and I said, go to the bottom if you have an iPhone like I do, some of you have thousands of contacts, hundreds of contacts. If you're on social media, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook or Instagram, some of you have friends on Facebook. You might have 500, 1,000, 2,000, I have 12,000 on Instagram, right? So what happens is people know people. Every one of the people on your list know people that you don't know. So that top 25 list is an inventory, because when we talk to people about their business, at least I did, I started thinking, I know people that can use an F&A. And then I started thinking, I know people that can use extra income, right? So when the person that trained me said to me, our goal is bring people to come see us or bring us to come see people. Bring people to come see us in our business briefing or bring us to come see people across the kitchen table. And so what we do is we develop a market utilizing people that you know. One of the things that I'll share with you is when I first got involved in a business, my writing is terrible, I apologize. When I first got involved in a business, one of the things that the guy that was training me said is, we're never going to allow you to do a presentation on your own until you say, I don't need your help anymore. The second thing he said to me is, we're going to go on an appointment and we don't do business on the first visit. We'll present kind of who we are. We take an educational approach. And if somebody's interested, we'll set up a time to get back together and do a financial game plan. If they're not interested, they might be able to refer us to some people. So it's a very educational, non-threatening approach. But the first thing we have people do is we have them put together a top 25 list. So let me kind of go through what a top 25 list is. A top 25 list is exactly what it says. A top 25 list is names that you're going to put together, not names for me or names for the person that's trading, names for you to build your inventory. Now, one of the two things are going to happen. Either people are interested or they're not interested. If they're interested, we'll talk to them about setting up a financial game plan. We'll not even talk to them about making extra income. And if they're not interested, they can refer you to people. Folks, I've been doing this 32 years. To this day, I still get people that were referred to me from other people. It happened today that for people I did business with 15 or 20 or 25 years ago. People lead you to people. All growing companies use a referral business, right? And so what is our market? How are you going to, so our market is this. Our market is people that are married, people that have children, people that own a home. Let me just erase that. I'm covering this up right here. People that are married, people that have children, own a home, 25 to 45, a full-time job. Now listen, that's our market. Does that mean that if you sit down with somebody who doesn't have children, we can't help them? No. It means if you sit down with someone who's 24 years old and are not, no, that doesn't mean that. All that means is this, okay? All that means is this. That's our target market. Why? Because when people are married, have children, own a home, or 25 to 45 and have a full-time job, what happens is they have R going for it. What's R? Responsibility. And when people have responsibility, that's our market, right? When I say 25, now when I started in the business, folks, I wasn't married. I didn't have children. I didn't own a home. I wasn't 25. I was 22. I was a 1-point market. We call this a 5-point market. I was a 1-point market. So when I put together a top 25 list with people, the first thing that I do is I say to them, listen, we have a 5-point market. Those are the people where you're going to get the best results with. Those are the people we want to recruit. Those are the people we want to do financial needs analysis. We can do business with anybody. We can recruit anybody, and they can come to work with us. We give everybody a shot, but that's our target market, right? I said I was a 1-point market. So when I sit down with people, if I just recruited you today, right, and we were going to develop a market for you, anybody who's a 1 to 3-point market, those are people that I would invite to a business briefing, a corporate overview. If I was going to sit down with somebody who, and on your list, it was a 4 or 5-point market, those are the people we would set up personal interviews to sit down with their husband and wife and show them the financial needs analysis and show them the game plan that we provide for people, right? And so the first thing that we do is we develop we develop a top 25 list, right? So that top 25 list that I just shared with you, this top 25 list, what you'll do is you'll put together a top 50, top 100, top 200 list. When I started, I had 50 something people at my plumbing company. I had 150 students at my Taekwondo school. I knew everybody. My brother was a cop, right? But I didn't have credibility. I didn't have financial credibility. People knew me as the construction worker, and people knew me as the guy who could fight, right? So who's going to listen to me when it came to financial services? What I did, though, very simple, folks, is I sat down with people, and what I utilized is the credibility of the company. See, what I teach people how to do is take their top 25 list, and I teach them how to turn it into a top 2,500 list. Why? Because I use credibility. Everyone's got credibility. You've got two types of credibility. You have personal credibility and you have financial credibility. A lot of you that are listening tonight have great personal credibility. You got friends, you got coworkers, you got people who went to school, but they know you as whatever you do for a living and what you used to do for a living. They knew me as a plumber and a karate instructor. I didn't have any financial credibility. So what we did is I borrowed the company's financial credibility, my field trainer, the field trainers that we have on this call tonight, and we utilized that, and we took a person's personal credibility with the financial credibility. What we do is we take personal credibility and financial credibility and merge them together, and that's where I teach people how to take their top 25 list and turn it into 250, 2,500, 25,000. That's what I've done. That's where we teach people how to build and truly build a huge market, folks, right? So the first thing that we have people do is we have them put together their top 25 list. The second thing we have people do is we have them get on Primerica Online. If I recruited you today and I filled out your IBA, submitted your IBA, right? Well, you're finding your independent business agreement. That independent business agreement we talked about in the business briefing, or the person who recruited you talked about. The way it works is it's $99. $99 is what you would invest in there to get started. Now that IBA that you invested, that $99 is not how we make money. I don't make a penny from that. The company doesn't make a penny from that. That just goes to do a background check on you and sponsor you to get licensed. Right now, until the end of April, this $99 is actually $49, but it's normally $99 because of the COVID-19 right now. They're doing they're trying to give back a little bit, right? And the way it works is it's $99 and $25 a month. That's what they talked about. That $25 a month ties you into Primerica Online. That's an app that you download. I run my whole business from my app. I run my whole business from my Primerica app. And so if you look at your business right here, if you look at your Primerica app, once you download that, so if I recruited you today and you downloaded your Primerica app, then the company banks $50. They put $50 in a bank for you, technically. They escrow that until you get licensed and that gets released. And I'll talk to you about that in a second. But the IBA that you come on board, that sponsors you to get licensed. Now, when I started in Primerica, they didn't pay for that. The IBA was 99 bucks, okay? But I had to pay for my licensing school. The first license you get would be a life license. Not to be a door-to-door insurance salesperson, but in order for me to legally talk about insurance, in order for me to get paid or get you paid, you need to be life licensed, right? And so the first license you would get would be a life license. Now we have a thing called PFSU, which I'll talk to you about in a second, which is our licensing school. You can either sit in a licensing school, a 4-day licensing school, in one of our local offices called PFSU, which is Primerica Financial Services University. I know it sounds goofy. Or we have online classes, which everybody's doing right now because of the situation we're in. But you can do online classes or go to the in-school class, right? So that licensing, when I went to school, the licensing school, I paid $99 for my IBA. It was actually $95. And then I paid $170 for my licensing school. And then it was $85 for my state exam. And in the state of New Jersey, which is where I lived when I first got involved in the business, I had to get a 4-year license back in the day. And the 4-year license was $355 to get a 4-year license. So I spent almost $700 getting my life license. Then to get my securities license, in order to sell mutual funds or variable annuities, right, you have to have a securities license, which is called a Series 6 and 63. Well, to get your securities license back in the day, I spent $450. So if you add those two together, and every state's a little bit different, Florida, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, North Carolina, Texas, we have people all over there, from all over on the phone tonight. But I spent $1,150 to get licensed. There was no training reimbursement program. Now the way it works is a person fills out $99 IBA. This month it's $49, but $99 IBA and $25 a month to tie you into our Primerica Online, which is our app and our system. The first day you implement that, they bank $50. And then once you get your license, the company pays for your licensing, they pay for your state exam, and they also, once you become a district, they pay for your securities license. So the value is over $1,100 value in some states that we pay for. You know, sometimes when people say, well, Keith, I don't have $99. And I always say, if you don't have $99, whatever the heck you're doing is not working, right? But the $99 is the investment you put out, and we lay out the investment on your behalf, right? Sometimes people go, I need to check Primerica out first. Well, the Primerica needs to check you out because they're laying out $1,100 on your behalf. Does that make sense? And so the second, and there's a reimbursement program, which I'll talk about in a second. So this Primerica Online, once you download the app, you got $50, right? Then what we do is we prove to you what we showed you. We teach you how to build a company within a company. We teach you how to recruit and build an agency, right? In the business briefing that we talked to you about, we talked about our business is structured very similar to real estate, like an agent. In real estate, if you're an agent, on average, you make 3% commission. If you're a broker, on average, you make 6% commission. Well, the reason you want to become a broker and not an agent isn't just because of the 3% and 6% difference, is because brokers go out there and recruit and license and train agents. And every time an agent sells a home, they get paid, a broker gets an override. The big money in real estate, folks, is not selling homes, it's having homes sold. As I'm talking to you right now, doing this, as you're watching this right now, I have licensed agents helping clients that don't work for me, they work for themselves. And when people work for themselves, they work harder. And what happens is, every time they get paid, if you recruited that person, every time this person gets paid, the company pays them and they pay you an override. And so what we do is we teach people. So I'll give you an example. If you got licensed with us and you wanted to do a financial needs analysis, every time you did a financial needs analysis, you get paid. So in the example that we talk about in the business briefing that you sat through, and I'll kind of just give you a quick understanding of it, right? In the business briefing we talk about, we say, hey, one of the things that we do, folks, is we teach people how to save money on insurance, right? So here's an example. Here's an example of a client, right? Bob and Sue, right? We kept the names simple to keep the innocent, but here's a client that had a $100,000 cash value policy on him and $100,000 on his wife, and no coverage on the children, spending about $300 a month. So one of the things that we did at Primerica is we didn't sell them insurance. They already had insurance. We showed them how to get more value for the money they're spending. So we took it from 100 to 400 each. So we took it from 100,000 each, which is 200, to 800,000. Plus we put insurance on the children just as a child rider. So if you got licensed with us just on the insurance side, it says right here, entry level, what happens is you get paid around $580 for showing somebody how to go from A to B. So watch this. We take it from $300 a month to $104 a month. That's a savings of $196. Then we would teach them how to invest that, whether it's a mutual fund, a savings program, a retirement plan, college fund, whatever their financial needs analysis says. So if you first came on board and you got licensed with us, you get paid around $580. But if you were the trainer that would do it, or a regional leader on average, you get paid around $812. So this is kind of like an agent. These are kind of like agents. But if you were a broker, what we call regional vice presidents, doing the same thing, you'd have actual ownership, you'd own your own business, you'd make around $1,200 for doing the same amount of work. So entry level, you start off part-time, you put in a few hours a week, we get you licensed, we get you competent. Then what we do is we teach you how to become a trainer. And when you become a trainer, folks, what you do is you build an agency, you recruit, train, and develop people. So a lot of people that are on this phone right now, a lot of you, when you looked at this business briefing, you said, well, wait a second. What if I had somebody like Kevin or John or Linda or Mary, anybody you knew? I said the average person knows thousands of people or hundreds of people. And what we do is we teach you truly how to build a company within a company, right? And so now you don't get paid by what you just do. You also get paid on what you get done or what you create. So in the same thing when it comes to investments. So here's a retirement example. Once you get your securities license, it says right here, a person has $30,000 sitting in a bank getting a 1% return. That's what they would have if they left it there over a 25 or 30-year period, right? 35-year period. That same person in a mutual fund put money away, it could grow to $1 million. So by educating people, the client doesn't pay us, the company pays us. So entry level, you get paid around $473. If you were a trainer, you get paid about $574. But if you were an owner or a regional vice president, you get paid $800. So obviously, the higher the level you promote yourself, the more money you make. But the big money is in building distribution, which I'll talk about in a second. And so when you look at that, folks, back to the financial needs analysis and putting together your, your success checklist, the first thing we do is develop a market. Second thing we do is you get you online so you see all the services, all the training, all the licensing, all the information, all the resources. Folks, I run my whole business from a device like this. The third thing we would do is have you complete your financial needs analysis. Now, if you're 21 years old or 22 years old like I was, then we're going to do a very simple, basic financial needs analysis. If you're married like I am now and have kids and own a home and take care of my mom, take care of my in-laws and have a whole financial game plan, then we're going to do a complimentary financial needs analysis. We're not going to do that to sell you something. We're going to do that for you so you can see what we do. We'll put together your financial game plan. The next thing we're going to do is show you how to do and prove to you what we showed you, right? We'll allow you to count your own F&A for a training transaction. It says right here, complete 3 field training appointments and have 3 guests attend a business briefing. This is a step-by-step process. Why? Because this is when you have guests, that's when you're putting more hours in your day. That's when we're teaching you how to recruit and build a company within a company. And so by doing this, you actually can build up a bonus. So check this out. We have a field training bonus is what we call it. And your field training bonus, folks, is a process where we take you on board. Where are we at here? Hold on one second. Here we go. Your field training bonus, it says right here, the thing we're going to teach is tell you how to build a business, right? Teach you how to build a business, build a team and teach you how to grow your business. The second thing we're going to do with that is help families across the kitchen table. We call this 1 by 1,000. The average transaction we do in a term protection, income protection is $1,000. So we sit down with a client, folks, and we do an average transaction is $1,000. So what we're going to do is we're going to have you go 1 by 1. We're going to go out there and teach you how to recruit somebody. We're going to show you how to do it. All you're going to do is watch and learn, right? It says you're going to learn the business while you're getting licensed. The company has a thing called Sprint to District, where we actually get you out there and earn bonuses, and there's no maximum, right? Sprint to District, so you could start out as a district. So the way it works is this. If you went 1 by 1,000, we have people that recruit on, like, let's just say today. And then that night they go out and we set up some appointments and we show people how we set up recruiting appointments, or we'll set up F&A appointments and we'll show them how to do that. They'll recruit one person their first day. There's people on this phone tonight that were recruited on Monday, and now have 3 directs in business with them already, right? So if you did 1 by 1,000, what happens is you bank $200. Well, normally that's how it works, but watch this. This month, it's actually $300. The company's doing a little special because of COVID-19. It's $300, but on average, you make $200 every time you did 1 by 1. So if you did 3 by 3, what would happen is you would bank, folks, $600. This month, you would bank $900. $600. But if you did that within the first 30 days, we would sprint you to district. So now, instead of starting as a representative, what would happen is you would start as a rep. So a rep on average gets paid around 25%, and I'll keep it simple, right? And a district gets paid around 50%. So I said the average transaction is $1,000. So once you got licensed, instead of making $250 on one transaction, you would make $500 on one transaction. So what we try to do is accelerate that process in the first 30 days. We have people on our team that go 3 by 3 in the first week they work with us. What that would be this month is it would bank $900 for you. We have some people that are 10 by 10 their first 30 days. What that does is that banks $3,000. So if you fill out your IBA and then you download your app, you get $50. So right now, this month, if you invested $49, you're up $1 in profit. Not that that's what you want to do. And then you would bank. So that's why I said the first 30 to 60 days, the first thing that you would do is you would get an education. If we took you out there and showed you how the business works, you get a great education. The second thing you would do is you would help some people. Behind the 1 by 1 and a 2 by 2 and a 3 by 3, you know what people are concerned about right now? Now more than ever, is my financial house in order. And we'll educate people on how to put their financial house in order. Second thing we do is we offer people an opportunity to make extra income like I did my first year. Made $18,000. If somebody put $1,500 in your checking account this month or $1,500 in next month, I'm telling you, it's a game changer. It was a game changer for us. You'd help some people. And then the third thing is you'd make money. So when I started out the meeting tonight, I said, hey, listen, give this thing 30 days to 60 days. Worst case scenario is you get an education, you help some people, and you make some money. You'd have nothing to lose. You're using an opportunity. You're using a chance, not taking a chance. And if it's not for you after 30 or 60 days, you get licensed with us. You have something to fall back on. We call that a spare tire. Everybody who drives a car should have a spare tire. Why? Just in case they get a flat tire. Just in case they get a puncture. You don't just wait, pull over and then leave your car there. What you do is you get out and you change the tire, you put a spare tire on. Well, the average person would never drive 500 miles away without a spare tire. Why? Because they'd be stuck if they had a flat tire. The average person in life doesn't have a spare tire on their job. So we look at people. People can come on board kind of spare time, like a spare tire. And then people start putting in 5 or 6 hours a week. Then what happens is they come on board on a part-time basis. Once you start making more money part-time than you're making full-time, then we have you come on board full-time and teach you how to become a regional vice president and truly have ownership. That's where you truly own and build a company, folks, within a company. And that's what I share with people. So on the success checklist, which is a step-by-step process, we'd have you put together your top 25 list, download Primerica Online for you and get your app. Get your F&A completed so we can show you what we're doing. Have you complete 3 field training transactions and have 3 people recruited on board into the business. How do you do that? Like I said, you bring people to come see us or you bring us to come see people, right? The next thing we would have you do simultaneously is we'd have you enroll in PFSU or do the online class, folks. So while you're going through the licensing process online, normally what we do is we have meetings in our office. It says attend weekly training. We do meetings in my office in Bonita Springs. We do meetings on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Tuesday evenings from 7:30 to about 8:45. Saturday morning, right, we do meetings from 10 o'clock to around 12 o'clock. We have an office in Teaneck, New Jersey, right, at the Glen Point Hotel. There, next to the Glen Point Hotel is an office building. We have an office right in there. At that facility, we do meetings on Tuesday nights and Saturday mornings. So when we're back up in action and there's not a 6-foot rule, there's not a quarantine, right? We're back on a Tuesday, Saturday. Some of you are listeners do meetings on Wednesday nights or Thursday nights or Saturday mornings or Friday evenings. Bottom line is I tell people you want to put in 2N plus 1S. 2 nights a week, 1 night in training, 1 night a week in the field, part-time or spare time, and one Saturday training. 2N plus 1S equals $50,000 to $75,000 a year. I'll teach you and show you how we have people. That's what I did, folks. I said I made 18, 26, 75, 150,000. I did that part-time. And I always forget about that. If you can make an extra $1,000 to $1,500 a month, most of you could free up 5 or 6 hours a week part-time. And so I ask people to attend weekly training and to do the best of your ability. If you can't make a meeting, we don't whip you with a wet noodle. You don't get terminated. It's like working out. It's like exercising. It's like a diet. The more you put in, the more you get out of it. So the first thing I would have you do simultaneously is I would have you come on board and come through the licensing process, take you through the success checklist. And every single one of you, we can get a success checklist downloaded to you or sent to you. And all that is very simple is we have you put together a top 25, a top 50 list. And then we cover your field training bonus and have you accelerate that and bank money. And then we also give you some prospecting ideas. People go, I don't know a lot of people. My main office is in Teaneck, New Jersey. If you drew a circle around that office, 90 miles, there's 46 million people. People say, who should I talk to? Any of them. Every one of you has people that you know either from church or daycare centers or elementary schools, who you know as a cop, a fireman, who you went to college with. All it does is we do this thing, it's called a memory jogger. And what I always do is don't become a mind reader when you join this business. People go, I know someone who'd be interested in a financial needs analysis, or I know somebody who'd be interested in coming on board. What I don't do is I don't prejudge anybody. All I do is I tell the Primerica story, which is what I did tonight. I share with people our concepts, and if they're interested in making extra income, we can do that. If they're interested in a career change, if the money was right, we can show them how to do that and get on an accelerated program. If they're interested in putting together a financial house and show them how to get out of debt, put together a financial net, we can show them how to do that. But people will lead you to people. If you went through this right now, and if I just said, who do you know is a mechanic, who do you know is a carpenter, who do you know is a hairdresser, we know a ton of people. Every one of those people that are on that list know people that you don't know. People will lead you to people, right, folks? We talk about basic rules to recruiting, right? Try not to recruit someone into the business, invite them down to the office or invite them for a presentation. Let the field trainer train and teach how to do this. Understand it's a numbers business. Not everybody we talk to is going to be interested. Everybody needs what we do, but not everybody's going to be interested. I would say everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die, right? And so these are just basic rules that we'll share with you. How to invite. We'll tell you exactly specifically what to say, how to create interest. Really simple as we talk to people. If you want to set up an appointment, you want to say, I value your opinion. I'm getting involved in a tremendous business opportunity. I need your help, right? I need your help. Not I need your opinion. I value your opinion. And I need your help. And then we talk about setting up presentations and coming through that process. So what I'm going to do is I want to stop sharing this right now, and I'm going to just wrap up in a couple minutes. And I want to just let you know, folks, we have a system that works. I have a ton of people that work with us. I have people on this phone with us right now that make $1,000, $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 their first 30, 60, 90 days with us. We have 450 regional vice president offices that I have a financial interest in. We're not asking you to come on board, or we're not asking you to take this business to the next level because we need to make extra income. We're going to give this thing a try. Folks, our company was started in 1977. We were part of Citigroup up until 10 years ago. We took April 1st, 2010, 10 years ago, we did an IPO, initial public offering, and we spun off, we took our company public. Our company hasn't grown, it's exploded. I've been doing this now 32 years. Year to date, while people are being downsized or right-sized in the middle of a financial crisis, our business is up 40%. Why? Because it's a big commercial and there's a huge awareness. We have people making $1,000 and $2,000 and $5,000 a month part-time from their house by using a computer, by using a device the way we're doing it right now. We have a step-by-step process, folks. We have 450 regional vice presidents that average between $100,000 a year up to $2 million a year. So I don't think we have a system that works. I know we have a system that works. And so welcome on board. If you were invited to this, it's because you took a chance to come on board and use an opportunity, right? Take advantage of this opportunity. And so what I wanted to do is kind of open it up. Wilma, if anyone has any questions, I'll take a couple minutes out. I spent about an hour and 5 minutes kind of presenting who we are and what we do. That's my perception. And I've got as many answers as you have questions, right? But does anyone have any questions? Wilma?
Hey guys, if you have a question, please unmute yourself.
Hey, it's Jose Padilla.
Hey, Jose Padilla. I can't see your face. Your pretty face, buddy.
Sorry, Coach. There's dogs around, but
All
I just wanted to ask for the new person who is putting together their list and going through the process. What would you suggest that they do in regard to working with their upline leader to do calls, to make the appointment? Do they do the phone calls on their own, or who should they call? Like, what would you say is your approach?
That's a great question. So first of all, I've never done a meeting where someone's drinking wine like that cup, that picture you have. So looks good though. So the first thing that I would do is understand that we have a financial interest in your success. So Jose, I have a financial interest in you. You're one of our top regional leaders getting ready to go to vice president. You're one of the guys making $10,000 a month with a full-time contract, basically. And so one of the things that I would recommend if I recruited you today is let you know I have a financial interest in you. That means the better you do, the better I do. And I would say, knowing I'm going to join you, what do you think I'm going to show you? Success or failure? Success, right? So if I waste your time, I'm wasting my time. I make 15 to 20 grand a day. I'm not wasting my time with anybody. So the reason I take people through a success checklist is two reasons, just so you know. One is to take them step by step through the process and have a cookie cutter system that works. The second reason I take them on board is to see who's going to get on an accelerator program. I want to work with the 20%ers. That success checklist, to complete it, should take 7 to 10 days. I want to work with people that want to a fast start, people that want to sprint to district in the first 30 days. So I would put a little faith in the system. Let us prove to people what we showed you tonight is fact. When I joined, what I realized early on is the company didn't need my experience. I didn't have any. They didn't need my money. They already had it. They didn't need my licenses. I didn't have any. What they needed was a market of people that I knew that they didn't know, to use that financial credibility and personal credibility and show me how to build a company within a company. The only thing I brought to the table is people that I knew, is my warm market. So what I would do is be a little bit coachable, a little bit plugged in, and I would try to sprint to district. If you recruited me right now, today, and I was brand new, I would be on the phone with you every day. I would go on appointments, and I would start scheduling appointments with people that I knew, and I would have you prove to me. See, when I joined, I sat down with my karate instructor, and I had my field trainer do an appointment. I didn't do an appointment. I wasn't licensed. I wanted him to prove to me that tonight I told you what we do. I wanted him to prove to me and show me what we do. He sat down with my karate instructor, my taekwondo. He didn't know him. I knew him, and we saved him money. We sat down with my uncle, who Produce Pete. He does a TV show on Fox, on Good Morning or whatever that is show, Good Morning America. Pete Produce Pal. So we sat down, and he had 6 whole life policies. I saw him save money. I sat down with my mom. I sat down with my cousins. I sat down with plumbers at work. I sat down with guys in my karate school. When I saw that, I saw him recruit people for me, and I saw him do appointments. And he said, you don't ever have to do an appointment on your own until you feel comfortable, and you don't ever have to present a business briefing until you feel comfortable. So the cool thing is it gave me an assurance that I went at my own pace.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that.
I appreciate it, man. Any other questions? Any other questions? All right, guys.
I have one other question, Coach.
Go ahead.
So sometimes it could seem like there's different moving parts for a new person, right? They have to get licensed and, go through the training and then go on the field. Like in the beginning is sort of like a transition. But regarding the licensing side, especially with what's going on today, what would you suggest for the new person they should focus on primarily in the beginning? I know you touched on that, but should they focus on getting their license immediately or getting their field training done first? Like, what's that?
The answer is yes. So what I would do is, because they have time simultaneously. See, when I started, I worked 7 to 3:30 doing plumbing. I went home, took a shower, and then I taught my karate school from 4:30 to 10 o'clock at night. So I literally had 5 hours a week. I had to give up a karate class on Wednesday night so I could come to a training class in Secaucus, New Jersey at the time. And on Saturday morning, I took off work and didn't work overtime because of where I was at. So what I did was I put a couple hours a week in training, and then I went out on some appointments. So I had a finite amount of time. Now more than ever, we have people that are home. Most of you are sitting at your house right now. So I would simultaneously put an hour or two online every day and bang out my licensing school. I would also schedule guests. We do business briefings Tuesday nights, Saturday nights, and Saturdays during the week that you could plug guests into the meeting, and the field trainer will do three-way calls with you and help you with that process, okay? Then the next thing that I would do is I would stay plugged into the trainings, right? Like Saturday morning, I'm doing a training at 10 a.m. It's gonna go from 10 to 10:45. Normally it's 10 to 12, but we're doing an abbreviated one on Saturday, because on Saturday I'm pulling about 150 offices together. We're gonna do a Zoom training. You're gonna see people that were attorneys that are making $500,000–600,000 a year. You're gonna see people that worked in a hospital are making $500,000 a year. You're gonna see college students that are now making $900,000 a year. And you're gonna see all the different local success, and it's gonna raise your belief level. So what I would do is stay plugged in. I would condense time frames. I say it takes 30 to 60 days to figure out. You could do that in the first 3 to 4 weeks working with us right now, and you could accelerate that. In the first 30 days, you could get licensed. You could hit your bonus. You could get a $600, a $900, right? A $2,000, $3,000 bonus in your first 30 days now, because people have time and people are home.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Someone asked me a question. Jasmine Rivera, are you there? You want to unmute yourself? Jasmine?
Yes, I'm kind of shy, so.
That's all right. I'm shy too, so that's okay. So to get your license during the quarantine, now normally, where are you from, Jasmine?
From the Bronx.
From the Bronx, Boogie Down Bronx, I love it. So we would plug you into a licensing facility in the Bronx. We have licensing school right in the Bronx. Now normally, but it's shut down obviously because of the quarantine, so you could do the online class, Jasmine. And then the licensing, the state exam is opening up the first week in May. So you could go to your online class, you could bang it out this week, and you could take the test in May and get your license in the first couple weeks in May. While you're doing that though, Jasmine, we could take you out and do some appointments. Who introduced you to the business?
Adelaida Mercado.
Awesome, she's a superstar. So Adelaida or Uziel, our field trainers, they could take you out simultaneously and have you bank. If I was you right now, I would try to bank, especially between now and the end of the month, that $300 bonus. I would try to go 3x3, 6x6, 10x10, and I would put that money this way. When you got licensed, that gets released to you, which is awesome.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Hey, look forward to meeting you in person, young lady.
Yes, yes, yes.
Any other questions on the phone? Don't be shy. Any other questions or comments? All right. Wilma, is there any other questions?
I don't see any other question here, Keith.
All right, guys. Well, first of all, we have a thing called a base shop, and a base shop is any of the regional vice presidents or brokers that work with me. They're regional vice presidents. They run and op. They're all part of our business. And then I have what's called a base shop. Our base shop are those of you that are on the call tonight. Those are our future regional vice presidents. Those are people that are working with us directly. So if anyone needs me, my office number is 201-816-8868. So 201-816-8868. Wilma, who you see her picture on the screen right now, Wilma has been with me 28 years. She put all this together because I don't know how to do any of this technical stuff. So she runs our business. Where's Wilma? There you are, baby. Right? Your picture's in front of it. Why is that? Let me see. All right, I see your picture in front of you, Wilma. Do you see Wilma's picture in front of her, or do you see Wilma? Now I see, okay. So the bottom line is, she's been with me 28 years. And I have Raquel Cascante. Raquel's been with me a few years. So those guys they run our business from our office in Teaneck, which we're not in right now every day. So they're working kind of from home, which she's in her apartment right now. I see their condo. And then Allie works with us. Allie Brand, she works with us in our office in Bonita Springs. So anybody who needs anything, you call these guys. I got 3 messages today talking about what a great job you guys do. So we're here to help support you. Anything I can do, if you recruit somebody, you need me to meet with them. If you're licensed with us and you have a client that you want to talk to or you need some help, I'm here and available to help you with that process. My goal for everybody on this phone is to teach you how to get out of this business what you want to get out of this business. If it's making part-time income of $1,000 to $1,500 a month and putting your kids through school or retiring in dignity versus poverty, we'll show you how to do that. If it's about becoming a vice president, owning your own business, I'll teach you how to do that. If it's about making millions of dollars a year, I can teach you how to do that. We've done it, okay? We have a step-by-step system. Folks, our business works 100% of the time if you work it. If you come on board with us and you put some time and energy, you stay coachable and teachable, if you work with me, it's impossible to fail. It's not following me, it's following the direction that the company's going in, and we have a system that works. So I'm excited to be working with you. I'm excited to get a chance to meet with you guys on a personal basis. Wilma, you have a question?
I do. I just wanted to take 2 seconds, Keith. You know that our next op meeting is Saturday at 1 o'clock, right? And so some of these guys, you know, so if you just mention real quick how they can get, you know, people to go to that meeting.
Okay, perfect. So the 2 things that you should do your next assignment or your homework, thank you. Saturday morning, we have a training meeting. If I were you, I would try to schedule. People go, oh, I had something already set up. I would try to reschedule it, and I would be there Saturday morning at 10 a.m. for our training, and our 11 o'clock, we call it our Empire Builders conference call. We do that once a month now. We've only done 2 of them in the last 2 years. So, but we're doing that because of what's going on. So that's Saturday training. At 1 p.m. on Saturday, we're doing a business brief, a corporate overview. That's going to be about 45 minutes. And that's going to be where you can invite people down. So every single one of you, if I was you on this call tonight, I would get on the phone tomorrow and I would start inviting people down for 1 o'clock, and I would say this: man, I value your opinion, right? I value your opinion. I need your help. I'm expanding my business. While I'm laid off right now, or while I'm under quarantine, or while I'm going through the licensing process. Don't say that, but while you're going through the licensing process, some of you are working part-time with us, some of you are out of work, some of you are college students. While you're doing that, you're expanding and you're building a business. I want to show you what I'm doing. Listen, you may or may not be interested, but I want you to see worst case scenarios. You get an education on how money works, and you'll learn a lot about it, and you'll get a chance to learn some great financial concepts. I want to schedule you for a meeting at 1 o'clock. All I ask is if you can make it, I just need to get a commitment so I can register you for it. We have a finite amount of space. We have a limited space for Saturday. So I would get 5, 10, 15, 20 people, because understand, every person you invite is not going to show up on the call. So like if you get married and you want to invite 100 people to your wedding, you've got to invite 150 because people can't make it. If you have a birthday party and you want 20 people to come out to dinner, you've got to invite more than that because some people aren't going to be able to make it. So if I was coming through the process right now, if you're working with us, I would pack out the meeting on Saturday morning at 10 a.m. If you're licensed, we're coming through the licensing process, you put in an IBA already. And then if you want to bring brand new people that have not been exposed to Primerica yet, I would plug them into that meeting at 1 o'clock on Saturday. Any other questions? All right, guys, thanks for your time tonight. Have an awesome night and stay well. We'll see you Saturday.
Thanks, Coach. Good night.
Thanks, Keith. Good night.
Good night,
Have
guys.
a good one.
Shout out.
Good night. Thank you.